Alright, welcome to the next tutorial here. As you can see, we are now on the carrier. We have upgraded from being over here on the airbase to being on the aircraft carrier. So startup procedure is still the same no matter where you are. So let's go ahead and get the cabin closed up so we can hear things. So main battery, APU, close that canopy. Alright, the canopy is now closed. Let's go ahead and get our switches on. And again, whatever your preference is for switches, turn it on. You just know all the ones that need to be turned on.
Sierra 1-1, you're cleared to taxi to Cat 3.
Sierra 1-1, cleared to taxi to Cat 3. Alright, so we have clearance to taxi to Cat 3, which is going to be the inner catapult. They call that CAT for short, catapult right there. And so here are our planes here. I believe our wingman is this guy right here in front of us here. And then these two here are going to be off flying their thing, and the two down there are going to be off flying their thing. But the kicker for that first mission, they were all flying with me, was I forgot to tell them to fly their own route. So they do that route based upon the route that I drew on the map, and they fly it pretty much. So, but they don't do anything until I get in my plane and get my engines going. So now that I'm all set, I got everything ready. Now watch, we'll get the engine 1 on, engine 2 on. Once we get the engine spooled up, they are spooling up over here, and they will start moving here in just a second. You'll see him take off. There's his engines. He's ready. He's going. Psh. There we have movement over here. 2 of those puppies are moving to take off on the catapult. He's up, and he's clear. This one will be taking off. There he is. His jets are fired up. There he is, taking off, going across. He's going to get up, and he's going to follow him. Those 2 again down there at catapult 1 and 2, and they're going. So I'm ready to roll. I'm going to go ahead and take that brake lock off. Go ahead and grab my stick here and get the throttle going. And we're going to go over to catapult number 3. And depending on what catapult you are, 1 and 2 are at the front of the ship, 3 and 4 are back here. This is 3, 4 is over there. So I guess if you're reading them, they go from right to left. 1, 2, 3, and then again 4 is on my left over there. So as you can see, they're all ready to go. They're flying off. Okay, and then you need to put the launch bar down, because that's going to catch the catapult right here. Nice and easy. A little bit of brake here. Get her lined up, and she'll just lock right in here in a second.
Sierra
there we go.
1-1, locked in. Throttle down and run your launch checklist.
Alright, we are ready. Wing fold, as she says. Wings are going down.
Sierra 1-1, shields up, ready to go.
Sierra 1-1, shields up, ready to go. Alright, so your final checklist, you are locked in. If you need to make any adjustments to your cockpit view, go ahead and do that with the seat. Otherwise, go ahead, flaps all the way down, and we are ready to take off. But before we take off, over here to our left is kind of, I'll call it the ILS, Instrument Landing System for a carrier. You have that on the land as well. So if you recall a couple of other videos coming in for a landing, you saw the lights light up here. The green caret at the top, red caret at the bottom, and a gold circle in the middle. Same thing applies to this over here. That tells you where you are as far as what they call, quote unquote, the groove. And the groove is being on the correct glide slope to land safely. You don't want to overshoot the runway and land way too far, and you don't want to undershoot, which would be landing on the grass before you get to the runway. So that right there is set at a certain distance from the edge of the runway, so you know just about where to touch down. Do you have to touch down exactly at that point? No. Can you be a little short or a little long? Yes. More so for jumbo jets like passenger planes, the runways are only so long. So if you overshoot that mark by so much, you may not be able to stop by the end of the runway. But that's something that they know. So if they do that, then they have to call what they say a missed approach. So you would say Sierra 11 missed approach on runway 22, and when you do that, you have to pull up, go to a holding pattern, get clearance to land again. You don't have that happen. I've never been on a commercial plane where that's happened, but it happens. I'm not sure why it happens, but it happens. So just wanted to give you that little extra tidbit. So we're ready to take off here. Again, everything is ready. Bingo, 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 bingo. I'm going to do fix. There we go. So our launch procedure here, slightly different than on the land. What we have to do is make sure we grab the stick here, and we have that. Next, we're going to grab the throttle. But once we get airborne, we're going to put landing gear up and flaps up just like we do on the land, but we also want to put up this launch bar. That's the other difference that we're going to need to do. So, all right, we're ready to rock and roll. So let's go ahead and put this thing in the burner, release the throttle, and pull back on the stick here, and nose is up. There we go. And gear up, and flaps up, and launch bar up. All right, and we're just gonna make a bank turn here over to the left. Gonna take this out of burner. All right. Okay, perfect. All right, give us a little bit of altitude here, and we're gonna bring this back a little bit on the throttle, and we're gonna hit heading and altitude hold, and we're releasing the right stick because now we have it in autopilot. So first things first, we're going to go and do some tanks. So we'll hit home and then OBJ for objective. And then next, so first things here is destroy 4 tanks. So we'll hit our WPT, which is our waypoint. It's going to put that, as you can see, the bell shape up in our HUD. And then we're going to go home and then hit our nav. And then there we go. Our objective is over to the right at 3 o'clock. So we're going to make a turn over that way in just a couple of minutes. Gonna just get us a little distance so we can come back in towards the target, because again, I know how I have them set up, and it's just gonna make it easier for the angle we have. Our wingman is now airborne. He's over here on our 9 o'clock, and so the first ordinance that we're gonna do today is, let's hit equip. So equip screen just shows what your ordinances are. So you can see we have AIRS T, which is our short range air-to-air missile, 3 and 3, we have 6 of those. Hydras 7 and 7, we got 14 of those. AGM 65s, we have 1 and 1, 2 of those. AGM 89s, we have 2 of those, and GBU 38s, 3 and 3, so we have 6 of those. 800 rounds on the cannon. So again, you could go into these and configure as needed. So let's say the Hydras here. We go on the Hydras, salvo 2. Salvo means it's going to shoot 2 at a time. So if you want it, you could do 1. You got 14 of those, so if you do that, you got 14 shots. So if you have it on 2, you have less shots, but you got 2 missiles going out, and you get a better chance of hitting those things. So, all right. That's that. That's all I really want to show for that right there. So we're going to hit home. We're going to hit back our nav screen. We're 12, almost 13 nautical miles out. So we're going to take control over the stick here, turn off our heading and altitude hold, and we're going to bank the ship around to the right, and we're going to give us some throttle because we're getting low on the throttle here. And there we go. We got it up to military spec. As you can see up here in the hood, the throttle gauge is up to that line, which is military power. So we're going to hit home, and then we're going to hit this button right here, which is TGP. Okay, TGP. No signal, as you can see. It's no signal because it's not actually drawing any power. So you have to hit PWR, which is power. And then you'll notice a screen up here which looks kind of like a camera. And basically the TGP is targeting pod, and it's underneath the aircraft at the nose, and it basically is a souped up high powered camera that can see this ungodly distance, so you can lock on and find targets without actually having to fly over them and see where they are. So gonna bring the throttle back here on this now we got some power going. So all right, so now that we have this on, you'll see a couple of the buttons that you recognize. Here's the SOI, which is a source of interest. You have the zoom plus, the zoom minus, the GPS in, the GPS A. There's your power button again, which turns it on and off. And then here's the head mode. I'm not going to show you how to use the head mode. Don't really find that one usable here with this one, because you have to zoom in to targets, and with your head it's too hard to zoom and keep your head still at the same time. So anytime your camera gets out of whack, you can hit FWD and that will bring it back to the forward position. You have here sense. The sensor is on day sensor, or you can turn it on night, or you can turn it on color, which is like what you're looking at here. Mode forward, mode target. So again, whatever you need to do, you can do that all inside here. So we're on forward. Our target is over there at our 3 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and hit our source of interest here. And the right stick that we have here, you see this little dial right down here. So your thumb will feel this stick if you have your thumb up, and that thumbstick controls this camera. As you can see, I'm going down, up, I'm going left, I'm going right. So as you can see, here's the bottom of the plane right here. There I am scrolling around. It has a limitation. There's the bombs. There's the AGM anti-ship missiles right there. 2 of those puppies. And then there's a fuel tank right there. So you have a lot of stuff right there. So if you get this gimbal limit, that just means you reach the limit of the camera, and that's what I mean by you can hit forward and it puts the camera back in the forward position. So best to keep it in the forward position so that you can see. Alright, we're turning back around to our target here, and I'm going to give a little bit of juice. Things are going to go quickly here, so giving us some juice, climbing a little bit. Alright, bringing us back around. There's our bell. There's some planes up in the air. Alright, outer burner, back down. Alright, now you can see in the hood it's 11 nautical miles out. So gonna bring that down, throttle down, and then I'm going to hit heading and altitude hold. So now it's on autopilot. We're not really doing any steering, but we still have control of the stick over here. So now that we have our source of interest, you can see over here the camera. You can see that square box. So we want to bring the square box down. I kind of know where the targets are. Brought it down there. So you're going to use this to zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Let's switch off a color to daytime. There we go. And then I can hit plus, plus. There's a tank right there. There's another one. And the other ones it won't pick. That's fine. So this one right here we definitely got. So let's go ahead and pick him. Alright, now master arm on. Alright, so and then we want to hit the B button on our stick here. Airs RT, Hydra, AGM. So AGM, we're going to take off our autopilot stuff. We're going to pitch down just a little bit here. Alright, 5 nautical miles out. So to shoot this weapon, we use the index finger on our right stick.
Shoot.
That brings the circle down to the target.
Shoot.
Once you get the shoot cue, then you're going to use your other thumb
Shoot.
to launch the missile. So there we go. There's the launch. It's going to that right there. We can't get that one locked up because of the angle that we're at. So we'll just turn this way a little bit. We're going to keep an eye down at the ground or here on the panel. You'll see an explosion here in just a few minutes. And I'm gonna hit one zoom out. Boom, there it went. I was watching down here, but you can see it right there. There we go, we have him locked up. So now I'm gonna hit some brakes and we're gonna turn. And remember, it's the index finger to bring up the shoot cue, and thumb. There's our second missile out. And there you go, you can see it go down. Boom, second explosion. Perfect. Alright, I'm taking it into burner. We are Winchester on AGM 65, so I'm going to hit turn off the TGP, and I'm going to cycle through my weapons to get to my Hydras, and I've done that. So now what I'm going to do is hit home and nav, and I'm going to pull back on the stick. Little bit, pulling up. We're going vertical now, straight up in the air. You can look out and see you're going vertical. And rolling the ship back over. We're doing a loop-de-loop. As you can see this circle up here in our hood, that is where the unguided rockets will go. So now that we've got it up over, we're looking back over. Here's where our target's going to be. I'm going to bring the aircraft around, circling around. Going to take this out of burner, hit some brakes, bring us around. There we go. Coming down right on top of the target here. There's one out. There's two out. Got the one. And there's another one, and that should be good. No? Okay, that one should be good. One more for good luck. Alright. And I'm going to put on the heading and altitude hole. And we just destroyed the 4 tanks. We are going to continue on with our flight training here. Alright. And now we can take off the heading and the altitude hole. So we're banking around to the right. We still have our Hydras selected. We have 4 left. I used 2 at the last one, even though the hit was going through. So I kind of wasted 2. But that's okay, we got plenty of ordnance. Okay, so home, objective. Next, we destroy the tanks. Next here is ground forces. We hit waypoint, home, nav, straight ahead of us here, almost just off to our 12 o'clock. And that's going to be right down here. You can see the waypoint marker, 4.6. And going to give us a little bit of juice here because we are at 200. And I'm going to give us some afterburner and pull the nose up, giving us some altitude here. And burner off. Alright, now we have our red up there in the target. So we have 4 of these, so lining up that circle. There we go, we are Winchester on Hydras. Boom, boom. We just took that out, switching the guns. And again, you want to tap with the guns. There we go.
Altitude. Altitude.
And bringing up the aircraft. And that took 6 rounds from our 800. All right. Perfect. Still got our wingman back there. Gonna hit home. Objective. Next, destroy the tanks. Good. Destroy the ground forces. Good. Next we have cruisers. So cruisers or aircraft carriers. So we know we can take out the cruisers because we've done that before. So next we have carriers, and then we have some bombers and fighters. So let's just hit previous. Cruisers. We'll hit waypoint. This is a redo of the last mission because we've already done this. So, but since we have the ordnance, we're going to go ahead and select them, AGM 89s. So bring up our nav map, and there they are right over there. So gonna hit home, gonna hit our TGP power, and gonna just bank over this way just a wee bit, and we want to zoom out, get our camera zoomed all the way out. There we go. All right, you can see them right down here, so we're going to do plus plus source of interest. There we go, and we're going to hit GPS send, and we are ready to send it. There we go, it is out. And we are going to bank around to the side here. There's our missile over there. Just on the other side, our 9 o'clock of our wingman. You can see it going down there, coming down. And that first cruiser right here, you should see an explosion right there. We're looking down right at it. Boom. There we go. There's our AGM 89. All right, so we don't even need to move our screen. We got that one selected right there. So what we can do is just simply go ahead and make ourselves a turn here. Give us some throttle. Bring us back around. Gonna need to maybe zoom out a little bit. There we go. All right, there we are. There's our shoot cue and missile out. All right, and that should be it for that. Hitting the brakes, slowing us down, and I'm going to roll us inverted here. And controls are backwards, so I'm pushing forward on the stick to keep us up. There's the missile and impact. Boom, there we go. And rolling the ship back around. There we go. So 1's down, 2's down. You can see right out the window there. All right, stall noise, not paying attention, but whenever you hear that, just throttle and pull back on the stick. All right, we can turn off our TGP. Go to our objective. Next, so we destroyed the tanks. We destroyed the ground forces. We destroyed the cruisers. The carriers are behind us. Not bothering with the carriers today. We're going to some bombers or fighters. So let's go to the fighters. So we hit waypoint and we hit nav. Fighters are up ahead, 13 nautical miles. So you can see it up in the hood. We got the throttle all the way up, and afterburner we are climbing. Over here in front of us, you can see on the map, you can see 2 planes flying. You see the blue around them. I'll just do a little roll. There you go. You can see them right there. Woo! There's 3 of them, and we do a roll. That's red out. You don't want too much of that. That's when the blood's going the wrong way. All right, still climbing up here. All right, so 8 nautical miles, 7 nautical miles. We're gonna bank a little bit to the right here. All right, now that we've changed from ground targets, we need to do a couple of different things here for air targets. So first of all, we want to come home and we want to hit radar. Here's our radar. It is off. Radar button right here, radar on. And the line here just basically tells you how fast it's scanning the nose of the plane. That's a little imaginary line scanning the air for targets. Right now it's set at 5 and 2.5, so R plus, R minus is range. Now it's 16 and 8. Now it's 32 and 16, 64 and 32. That's the max. So you can see something 64 nautical miles out. We're going to keep it down to the 16 and 8 here. Okay, so we're up 33,000 feet. We are going to take this out of burner, and we're going to cycle through our weapons over here. So GBU, there's our cannon, and then there's our Ayers ST. Okay, so you can see our waypoint is over to the left of us here, so gonna just hit some brakes, bank around to the left here, and as we do that, we want to go ahead and hit our SOI, which is again our source of interest. The right thumbstick over here, as you can see, will move these lines around. Once you get an aircraft in there, you simply press the joystick in, the thumbstick, you press it in, and then that will bring up the target in your HUD. I'm going to change the angle here to 30. As you can see, it's bouncing around a little bit faster. All right, there we go. There's a target right there. See how I moved this right on top of them? I press it in. Now we have a 1 caret. And a 2 caret. And there they are, right there in front of me. All right, so now we have them in our system as 1 and 2. We have our shoot icon, but we want to get behind them because these missiles are heat seekers, and they seek out heat. And it looks like they're going away from us. You can tell the direction of them. They're going, this way. They're flying like that. They're starting to turn back. So we wait a couple of seconds here. We'll get a good shot right on the tail engines here. And I'm putting it into burner. There's 1 missile out. And I have it in burner. So we're gaining on them. You can see the little red there. They're moving and jinking. Pulling back on the throttle. There's 1 down. Going for a second one here. Boom. There's a second one. Going for number 1 up there. And we got 3 missiles left. Boom. And number 2. Again, they're not shooting back, so he missed. All right, going for this guy here. It went for the chaff, so there we go. For that guy, he's launching chaff, and that one missed as well. 1 missile left, and out, and bingo. Switching the guns. If you can get it, there we go. Guns, I'm holding the brake, throttle up. And again, you want to tap. And they're going down, but we're chasing them down. Rolling, coming back up. Got him. No? Oh, wow, that looked perfect. All right, guns. Got him. Guns. And got this guy lined up here. Guns. Bingo. There we go. And there's the wings falling off. And he's a smoker, and he's going down. We don't need to shoot him anymore, but there they go. He's going down. So, all right, brakes off. Okay. And heading altitude home objective. Next, so we got the fighters, we got the tanks, we got the ground forces, we got the cruisers, the carriers we don't have. We can destroy some bombers. Waypoint, let's see where they are in relation to us here. They're 19 nautical miles over that way. All right.
Autopilot disengaged.
Autopilot disengaged. We have nothing but guns for it. Not generally something you would do with just guns.
Autopilot disengaged.
So what we could do is land, rearm, come back up and shoot. But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna actually hit home, objective, next, carriers. Okay, we're going to hit waypoint to the carriers. Oops, home, nav. Carriers are 15 miles out here, straight up above us here, 12 o'clock. And we're going to cycle through our weapons to the GBU 38s. Okay. Take this out of burner. Alright. So what we want to do is nav, source of interest, bring this over, plus, minus. We can hit our targeting pod, source of interest. Bring that puppy down here and zoom in. There we go. GPS send, home, nav. All right. We're gonna have to bank around because we're right on top of them. GPS send. All right, you see the diamond coming down at the top up there? You want to keep that right in the middle. Boom. There was one hit. So we're going to hit forward. And basically the difference between these GBUs and the Mark 82 is this is just a GPS bomb. It's a little more accurate as far as droppage, you know, because you can program it, the GPS. There's a second hit on it. And again, not the best weapon for ships, but I just wanted to show you how they are deployed. So again, we're going to hit forward here, zoom out, climb. We're going to take our tank here, because our external tank is empty. We're going to hit jettison, and that just flew off, so we're a little bit lighter here. Bringing it out of burner. Have our source of interest selected here, and we're just going to do a turn back towards the carriers. Zoom in, use our thumbstick, zoom. There we go. GPS, delete, map, TGP, GPS send. And we're gonna bank around. There we go. Alright, lined up here. And again, we're looking at the caret at the top of the circle. And in a second, you'll see a diamond drop down. There's the diamond. And the diamond is, you want to get that close to the middle. And when you get it close to the middle, that's when you're ready to drop. One drop. There we go. And then that should hit right where it is. Again, GPS guided type of bomb. Don't have a lot of power, but I think that'll be 3. Yeah, 3. Boom. There we go. Another hit. So we'll go home, GPS, delete target, home, TGP, zoom out, throttle up. Gotta bank around. Source of interest. GPS send. Alright, and we're gonna bank around, throttle up, down, throttle up and down. Okay, there we go. Lined up. There's our drop cue. Two bombs out. 3 bombs out just because, no need to leave one. The last one might not hit. It did, and as you can see, that carrier is going down, but we have nothing left. So GPUs, pretty accurate, very accurate because you're using a GPS, but comes a downside with that, because seven miles this way. We're gonna cycle through. We have Canon only, burner on, zooming out. All right, but they are bombers, so we do have a slight advantage. All right. Climbing up. And home radar, source of interest, moving our thumbstick. Got one selected there. Looking for him in the hood. I don't see him. He must be up high. Or is he down low? Up there he is. Over there. Now, using the cannon, doesn't matter where you are. You could be, you know, the angle of attack for the plane. You can be behind them, to the side of them. Best is probably behind, but you don't have to be. Change that angle. Burners. We got 1 and 2 locked up, and 3. We have all of them locked up on our hood there. 1, 2, and 3. All right, slowing us down here so we don't overshoot. Oh, look at that. Bingo. There's 1 bomber down. Boom, 2 bomber down. Brake and throttle is all the way back. Bringing over, working it easy. Bingo. And made quick work of the bombers. All right. All right, so we can turn radar off, home, navigation, and we can hit reset, home, comms, ATC. We are going to land back on Callis Island. So
Sierra 1-1, tower, copy. Flight heading 115. Expect runway 04.
Sierra 11 heading 115. Expect runway 04. So navigation. We're gonna go ahead and comms, wingman, flight.
Negative. I can't do that.
No, you can't go refuel.
Roger.
Okay, just orbit there then. All right, there's our runway down there. We're up 13,000 feet. I can do it. You might not be able to do it, but I can do it. So throttle all the way back, hitting the brakes. And again, once you are descending, you're automatically going to be picking up speed. So you have to compensate for that with the brake. All right, and I'm going to hit speed and bring the speed down to 216, 220, something like that.
Autopilot disengaged.
Sierra 1-1, tower, cleared to land at runway 04.
Sierra 11 cleared to land on runway 04. So hitting the brakes. And again, gonna bring up our speed, bring it down to 220. I'd advise you to use the speed for your first couple of landings. It's just one less thing you have to manage. So we're slowing down, bring down the flaps. And with the flaps down, gonna bring down our landing gear. As you can see, the red there. So what I was saying when we took off of the carrier, that kind of guides you to how you want to land. So we are fast, way fast, but I think we'll be okay.
Autopilot disengaged.
Down and clear. Brake lock.
Welcome back. Follow the taxi path to your parking area.
Flaps up. And that's that. So today we took off on the carrier, got you catapulted off of there, and we went up and we destroyed a lot of stuff here. So objectives. Alright, we first took off, we did some tanks.
I'm returning to base.
We destroyed some ground forces there. We did the 2 cruisers. We took out one of the 2 carriers, and then we destroyed the bombers and the fighters. So we are one carrier away from doing everything. If we had more bombs, we'd be okay. We could probably take out that stuff. You know, actually, I don't know if we could fit the whole. I don't know if we could fit everything into one takedown. I don't know. We might be able to do that with the ordnance without having to refuel. It kind of sucks because we had nothing for a carrier. All we had was guns left, and you're not sinking a carrier with guns. No way, no how, no one. Alright, slowing us down. We're almost to our parking. There we go. And again, on the ground, just a slight turn of the wrist to turn the aircraft, because there's no pedals to steer. And we have it lined up here. Perfect. Tap at the brake, tap at the brake, tap
Ready to rearm and refuel.
Alright, ready to rearm and refuel. And we are stop, and we are brake lock. Alright, there we go. Again, we showed how to take off on the carrier. Did a few other things here throughout, which was really good. Our ordnances were pretty much Winchester on everything, 291 rounds in the cannon left, but gave you a good idea of how to deploy some different ordnances on this one. We had the Hydras, we had the AGMs, we had the anti-ship missiles again, and we had the GBU 38s, which are basically the Mark 82s with a guidance package on it. So, you know, you can drop those from up higher. You don't actually have to dive bomb coming down at an angle to dive bomb. So if you got stuff here, the old unguided bombs, you usually have to dive down, let go of the bombs. The bombs go like this and then boom, boom, boom. But the GBUs, you can be flying up here at 20,000 feet, right? You got the GPS coordinate locked in. You fly over it, you wait for that cue, and then you drop the bomb, and the bombs just go down there, so you don't have to do the dive bomb for that. But pretty awesome. We did a lot of good stuff there. That's all I have for you for this training mission.